So you're ready to make your voice heard at a protest. That's fantastic. But are you ready to do it safely? In this explainer, we're giving you a quick overview of our Peaceful Protest Safety Guide. Think of it as a 5-part series designed to help you protect yourself and your rights so you can really focus on what matters most, your message. Let's get right into it. And that, right there, is the key. This isn't about being afraid. It's about being prepared. By taking care of yourself, you're making sure your voice isn't just a one-time thing. It's something that can echo for years to come. Think of this explainer as your roadmap. We're going to walk through the most important stages of protest safety, pulling from the main chapters of our full guide. It's your high-level look at how to stay safe every single step of the way. We've broken our journey down into 3 really simple phases. First, everything you do at home to prepare. Second, what to do when you're actually navigating the scene. And third, post-protest care. So let's kick things off with what you need to do before you even leave the house. Safe protesting doesn't start when you hit the streets. It actually begins way before that, with a solid plan you make at home. Getting prepared in advance means you can focus on your message, not on problems that could have been avoided. Okay, so the full guide breaks down your prep into 4 main pillars. First step, and this is non-negotiable, you've got to know your rights and the local laws. Second, the buddy system. Never go alone if you can help it. It's your #1 line of defense. Third is packing the right stuff. And fourth, and this is more important than ever, securing your digital devices. Let's actually zoom in on that buddy system for a second. A good communication plan is absolutely essential. So here's how you build one. First, pick a reliable buddy you can stick with. Second, tell an emergency contact, someone who is not at the protest, what your plans are. Third, set up a few meeting points in case you get separated. And finally, schedule check-ins with your emergency contact, just so they know you're okay. All right, let's talk about what's in your backpack. We can break it down into 3 categories. For gear, think goggles and really comfortable shoes. For first aid, you want the basics plus any personal meds you need. And here's a pro tip. Pack antacid tablets. They can actually help neutralize the effects of things like tear gas. For sustenance, bring water and some high-energy snacks. And of course, don't forget some cash and a portable charger. Now, before you even walk out the door, take these digital security steps. Make sure your phone is fully charged and bring a power bank. Now, this next part is crucial. Disable your Face ID or fingerprint lock. Why? Well, police can legally make you use your face or finger to unlock a phone, but they need a warrant to force you to give up a passcode, so use a strong one. And download offline maps, just in case cell service gets spotty or cut off. Okay, you've done your prep, you're at the protest. Now it's all about staying aware, protecting your privacy, and knowing your rights in the moment. Let's dive in. The reality of protesting today is that there's often a lot of surveillance. We're talking everything from facial recognition to cell site simulators. Your digital footprint can be as vulnerable as your physical self. A good practice is to turn off location services and maybe use encrypted messaging apps like Signal. This is a question every single protester needs to know the answer to. There are 3 key phrases that can protect your rights. Let's break them down one by one. The very first thing you should always ask is this: am I free to leave? It's a simple, direct question to find out if you're actually being detained. If the officer says yes, you can walk away calmly. If they say no, you're being detained. And that's when you use your next right. If you're being detained, your very next sentence should be, I am exercising my right to remain silent. You have a constitutional right not to answer questions. Don't let anyone pressure you into talking. Your silence cannot be held against you. And finally, you say, I want to speak with my attorney. As soon as you say this, all questioning has to stop until your lawyer is there. Don't sign anything. Don't make any decisions without legal advice. Seriously, those 3 phrases are your best defense. What if you're exposed to chemical agents like tear gas? Your immediate actions are critical. First, get away from the source. Move upwind and uphill if you can. The biggest instinct you have to fight is rubbing your face or eyes. Do not do it. Instead, flush your eyes with clean water, rinse your skin, and change out of your contaminated clothes as soon as it's safe to do so. All right, the protest doesn't just end when you leave the streets. Taking care of yourself afterward is so important for being able to keep doing this. Let's look at what that really means. Post-protest care really comes down to 4 key areas. First, your physical recovery. Rehydrate, eat, get some rest. Second, your emotional well-being. It's a great idea to talk about your experience with a friend or your buddy. Third, do a little digital cleanup. Review anything you posted online. And finally, be ready for any legal follow-up if you need it. Now, if you were arrested, these are your immediate priorities. Contact a lawyer right away. A lot of organizations offer free legal support for protesters. Whatever you do, do not miss a court date. Document everything you can remember, gather any evidence, and keep a detailed record of any costs you have, like bail or lost wages. So, what's the big picture here? All of these safety measures, they're not just for one protest. They're about building the resilience you need to stay active and effective for the long haul. It really just boils down to these 4 principles. Prepare thoroughly before you ever leave. Stay aware of your surroundings the entire time. Protect yourself by knowing your rights and having the right gear. And finally, support others. Look out for each other because nobody does this work alone. And here we are, full circle. Preparing for a protest isn't about holding back. It's about making your impact last. By staying safe, you make sure your voice will be there, loud and clear for years to come. So the real question is, what will you do to protect your voice?